When it comes to culture, as the teacher, that means that I just need to make sure to include everyone in every type of culture there is so that my students can learn about it. As a student in my classroom, my students need to learn about their classmates and the cultures that they come from or that they practice at their home. And as a school, my school needs to learn about customs, being politically correct, making sure that the teachers know how to address certain students with culture, and so that ultimately what we can do is we can work together as a family.
When I think about race and ethnicity, those things go hand in hand for me. So the way that I tell the difference is I think about racially, there can be individuals who identify as white or Caucasian, but when it comes to ethnicity, they are Australian or British or Irish. With that being said, when it comes to ethnicity, as the teacher, I need to make sure that I don't make rash judgments as far as kids and their ethnicity. As a student, though, they also need to be aware of different ethnicities, so they need to learn what ethnicity is as compared to race. And as a school, what we need to do is we need to have awareness as a whole school, and so that we can learn what the ethnicity is in our school and the differences between us. Ethnicity, race, and culture, a lot of things can be said about all three. But when it comes to race, as the teacher in the teacher position, what I need to do is to make sure to not follow any stereotypes, not to automatically judge a kid just because of the color of their skin, and that I need to make sure to teach everybody to the best of my ability no matter what. As a student, they need to know about other races, especially in like my school, for example. Our population is 97% African American, and so there aren't many Caucasian students in my school. So it's definitely important to teach my kids about different races and things like that. As a school as a whole, considering we do have a large population that is African American, we need to focus on other races as well and not get so focused on one race as the bad kids or one race as the good kids, and to ensure that everybody gets the same treatment. I'm not going to lie, I'm definitely guilty when it comes to making an assumption about a race or a culture or an ethnicity. I'm pretty sure we're all guilty, but knowing and being aware that's what we're doing can hopefully make a difference, because we will stop that and instead use our brains and realize that no, just because they're a certain race does not mean anything about them. When it comes to races, there's a lot of assumptions being made. For example, one race is bad, or one race is good, or one race is lazy. And there's some people out there that no matter who they meet of a different color, they're always going to think that that race is bad, or that race is good, or that race is lazy. When it comes to ethnicities, there's a lot of assumptions being made. For example, Mexicans like to work a lot, or Chinese and Japanese people are really smart, or Americans like to party. There's even some assumptions out there that the Swiss just want to get along with everybody. Now, these are not my assumptions, but this is just things that a lot of people come up with, or stereotypes that are made about certain ethnicities. There's also assumptions being made about different cultures. For example, all Mormons live in Utah, or, unfortunately, Muslims are terrorists. All rednecks live in the South, mainly Alabama, not Tennessee. And also that surfers are not intelligent, or that New Yorkers are hotheads, or that Florida is for people who want to retire. It does not matter if your students all come to school every day and sit in your classroom for the same amount of time and they all get the same instruction every single day. They will never, and I mean never, all score the same way on a test or an assessment that is given. And that is mostly because of their home life, things that go on when they're not at school, because those things do affect what happens in school. Some kids come to school so hungry and that thinking about food that they can't think about what instruction is going on. And some kids come to school so sad and angry because their parent has been taken away to jail. Or some kids come to school because they're scared because of what happened the night before when they were at home and there was violence going on down the street. So there's a lot of factors that come into play with your students. So when you're answering the question, why do some students achieve and some students do not, that is because of home life situations, and a lot of the time it's things that go on outside of school. Everyone deserves equal opportunities, but they need to meet their specific needs. So if you give out an assignment to every student and expect them to do the same on it, they will not, because when it comes to equity, everyone needs what is specific to them, what they need for their assessments or they need for their assignments. So if we can differentiate and give children what they need, what their grade level need is, or what their specific goal is, then we can foster a productive environment in our classroom so that all students can succeed.